a gaggle of girls, or I can refer to like a boo or like a pookie. As I just said that aloud.
Do we need to cut that?
I don't know. That felt really awkward. I'm really sorry. I'm just reporting what the kids say, people, okay? And obviously I should never say it out loud again because
leaders from Asheville and Buncombe County.
from the newsroom to the nursery.
We're juggling a demanding career on live TV with the demands of motherhood.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Karen.
They are AnchorMoms.
Hi, friends. Welcome into another episode of AnchorMoms, the podcast. Glad you're with us here, either in your ear or on your screen, whether you're listening old school or YouTube style.
New school?
New school?
I don't know. Is that what the kids say these days?
I don't know. So listen, we have to share that we had a really fun little weekend. We took our girls to a pink cabin.
A pink cabin.
It was literally pink. Every inch of that place was pink.
Even the extension cords.
I didn't even know you could buy pink extension cords.
I didn't either.
Listen, you can. And this place did. It was all pink from head to toe. And our girls loved it.
From floor to ceiling.
Yeah, floor to ceiling. We went with our other friend who was a former AnchorMoms host, Ingrid, and her daughter, and it was just so lovely.
It was. It was really fun.
It was really fun. It was fun. The girls just had so much fun together. And what's funny about it was we were literally
10 minutes
from our houses. But, you know, if you're like staying somewhere else and it's all pink.
Right.
Your girls don't care.
And you don't have to do laundry. I was going to say
it wasn't even possible.
Dishes, but you did have to do dishes.
It wasn't even possible to do laundry. There was no washer and dryer.
There was no washer and dryer.
It was a small little, it was not the largest space.
It was like 900 square feet.
But we fit the Barbie dream house.
We did. We
fit some air mattresses, and, you know, good times were had by all.
We did post some on social media, and really, you've got to see this place. It was
very pink.
It was
on the outside, on the inside.
And we drank lots of wine. We drank some margaritas. Karen made a little Mexican meal. We ate pizza.
It was fantastic.
Everywhere we went, everywhere, we didn't really go anywhere. We went to a park on Saturday, and then we did go to like a little local brewery. But we kept saying like, well, we're on vacation. It's vacation. Have another beer. It's vacation.
But you know, it's so funny when you're not at your house. You are. Because when you're at your house, there's a million things to do. And no matter what, if you are not at your house for a couple of nights, no matter where it is, you're on vacation.
Yeah. And all 7 of us slept in the same room. Did I say that already? That was like the most we had air mattresses and beds. And I don't think anybody slept very much.
No. Our girls were exhausted.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and it's funny how our girls, you know, it's like I think stopped saying mom because there were so many moms.
They started calling us by our first names.
Yeah.
Like, Katie, I need another applesauce pouch.
Yeah.
Because, you know, River knew if she said mom, like all 3 of us would be like, what? What is it, honey?
Who's mom?
What is it, honey?
Yeah, it was so fun. I was thinking about it, you know, of course, as parents, you want your kids to be friends with your friends' kids, right? But it doesn't always work out, you know? Like sometimes you try to force it and they're just like, don't jive. But we are so lucky that our kids, I think, legitimately like each other and are friends and love it.
And they've known each other since birth.
Yeah.
Because, of course, we were all pregnant together.
They know like the order in which they were born.
Yeah.
You know, of the 3 of them, it's just really fun to watch them play.
Your oldest, Celery, was reading to
the other 3.
The 3 other little girls, and they were all in bed together. And it was, I went downstairs and came back up, and I was like, guys, this is the dream.
Yeah, we did it.
This is the dream. This was the plan 6.5 years ago, and here we are. In a pink cabin, and all of our kids are
and Karen's oldest is taking care of them.
I know. That is true. Anytime we Ingrid and I quickly caught on that Celery, who is 9,
and a big helper.
Right. Like River would come over and be like, "Can you help me put this Barbie dress on?" And I'd be like, Ask Ella Ray. Ask Ella. Oh, you need help opening that? Ask Ella Ray. And
It's
she was
always
great.
nice
She
to
was
have
a
an older
really
kid
good
around.
sport about it, by the way.
I did like told her many times yesterday, like, thank you for being such a big helper
was
with the little
very
girls. But I think she likes it and it's fun. She had a great time as well. And she also got to then like stay up with the moms and like read her book while we were chatting.
That was fun for her, I'm sure.
Yeah. I was like, what did you think of like our conversation? Like what? Like was it too like
what'd she say?
Boring? And she was like, what? What are you talking about? Like she was like so zoned out, like reading Harry Potter, like she just was excited to have like a later bedtime.
Yeah. To feel like sort of grown up. I know.
Yeah. It was lovely.
I think we need to make it an annual thing. That's what we were saying, right?
Yeah.
Or a quarterly thing is what we decided.
Also, we realized that if you were in a position and you have a piece of land and want to make a lot of money, build a couple of cabins that are themed. Make one pink. Make one, I don't know, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Make one, Star Wars.
This was like a compound where we were.
It was all these little cabins, but I mean, you can charge a pretty penny, and people will come.
Paid it.
We did.
We were there.
Yeah.
We did it. We booked it. Like this was sort of a Christmas present to the girls that got delayed back in January because of some snow. But yeah, it was actually a huge win. Like should have been our win of the week.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, this one is for you, Karen Zakalak. I thought this really would speak to your heart.
It is pretty spot on.
This comes from yahoo.com, and the title is, I grew up with frugal parents, 9 things they told me to never waste money on. So,
I mean, I wonder if my parents listened to the podcast, would they be offended?
Why?
I don't know.
I feel like you forget about your parents.
Oh, you're talking about me. This is what my kids are going to say.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't know. Did you grow up with frugal parents?
I did. I was thinking one generation up. Oh, you're like directing this to me.
This is like specifically for you.
Now I'm like listening to this differently. Okay, go.
Yeah. Forget about your parents. Okay. So this woman, she's in her 30s. And she's going to share the best advice her mom and dad imparted about saving rather than overspending over the years. Okay. Are you ready for these? Mm-hmm. Don't splurge on name brands. Skip extended warranties. Use a library instead of bookstores. Pack your lunch. Use public transit. Make coffee at home. Shop secondhand first. Learn do-it-yourself fixes. And grow your produce.
Okay, now that you're reading this, I do every single one of these things except 2.
Okay.
We don't use public transport.
Right.
Which I will say, like,
you could do it, but it would be tricky here.
We live in Asheville. It's not like super convenient. I mean, I think if we lived in like New York City or something. But,
right.
And we don't grow our own produce. I would love to. I'm not a good gardener.
I try to grow our own produce every year, but it doesn't really.
This is so funny because I was thinking of my own parents. My parents obviously did a lot of these as well. A couple I would add if we're talking about my parents. They also had a rule that like you basically never replace something unless it's broken.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay.
Like I remember we had a really ugly green, like 70s green trash can in our kitchen. And, it was one of those colors that was very in for a while and then was not
like
in.
An avocado color?
Yes. And it was hideous. And I remember like my siblings and I being like, Mom, Dad, like this isn't in anymore. Like we need to like get a new trash can. And they were like, it's not broken. Like why would we replace it?
Right.
So we kept that old green trash can
for
a
long
time. No, they've since redone their kitchen and
got rid of it.
Yes. But that was kind of the mentality.
Sure.
It was the same way with cars. We never got rid of a car. I mean, we would like drive a car into the ground before we'd replace it. They never bought a new car ever. It was always used cars. The other thing that really sticks in my mind, and I don't know, this is just like a funny memory and I can never shake it whenever I go into a gas station. When you're like maybe traveling or you're just running around and like every once in a while, you might, like, especially I remember when I was a kid, teenager probably, and you'd want like a soda, right? Like a candy bar and a soda from the gas station. You'd be like, oh, Dad, can I like run in and get a candy bar and a soda? And he would say, no, that is the biggest waste of money. You are going to spend $2.99 or whatever it was at the time on a 16-ounce soda. If you go to the grocery store and buy a 2-liter, it's going to be less expensive. I don't think he's wrong. His point was like, buying
it's too expensive.
individual, smaller packaged things.
Less bang for your buck.
Exactly. Buy the bigger packaged things at the grocery and then have it when we get home.
But what if you're on a road trip?
Well, but it's just like for some reason that always sticks with me. And it's so funny.
And now your kids, you do the same thing to your kids.
No, I mean, they're not into soda, but like even Gregory will be like, oh, can you run in the gas station and get me a soda? And I'm like, it's a lot more expensive, actually, Gregory. If you want a soda, you should probably just go by Ingles and buy the 2-liter, which no one even buys 2 liters anymore.
Well,
I don't think.
And also it goes flat. Like
right. I mean, there's many, but it's so funny how that, like, when I read this article, that is so ingrained in my head.
Yeah.
To not buy, things that are. Don't buy things out of convenience that are more expensive. Wait and make the more logical, cost-saving choice of buying them in bulk. So, I mean, that's like the general lesson. This is my question.
What if you just want to enjoy your life?
What if you're a normal person who sometimes wants a small Coke from the gas station?
Right. What if you just
need a Snickers bar?
Hangry.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I'm just telling you, like, this article cuts deep. Because I
knew it would.
Had very frugal parents. I think they would tell you that. And I still feel some of their, I mean, look, like, I'm a frugal person. Now I'm like, okay, how can I like pass on some of these
traits, qualities
while not being like.
While allowing your children to enjoy their life.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, why, I don't want my kids to grow up and have the same stories about me. Like, oh, mom never let us, blah, 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 I will say, if they're good on a road trip, they get to go in and get a piece of candy. Wow. Mm-hmm. But this is so embarrassing to admit.
They have to like share it.
All 4 of them have to agree on one type of candy and share it.
Like one candy bar?
No, like a bag of something. Like a bag.
You can't buy them individual. You got to get a bag because it's like more bang.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the only
Katie's like, we're moving on.
Okay,
your poor children.
I do make my coffee at home. I'm not a big, I really.
That's an easy one.
Mostly because I just like our coffee better, to be totally honest.
Well, I think that's like such a blatant, disregard for money.
I never get the extended warranties on anything.
No.
And
I think the splurging on name brands, what I would say to that is like pick and choose. I do think there's sometimes where it absolutely makes sense to buy a name brand.
Like in groceries or clothes?
More clothes, but sometimes groceries. Mm-hmm. The older I get, the more I'm like, let's get like the nicer thing sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
Katie's shocked.
It's a big step for you.
Yeah.
Big step for you. Good. Yeah, this is good. I mean, River always goes to the library. We never.
Yeah.
And in fact, we have so many books people have given us. I'm like to the point now where I'm like,
you can start your own library.
Don't even think about buying another book.
I think I love shopping secondhand. I think that, especially for the kids, right? Like, I don't do it as much for me just because I don't have time. I would like to. But for the kids who grow so quickly, like, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
We definitely do a lot of DIY stuff ourselves at our house. I mean, and again, that's another thing, though, where some stuff, yes, some stuff, like,
well, of course,
you should have a professional do
I'm
it.
not handy at all, by the way.
My husband is, yeah.
Yeah. Brian, yes. But sometimes we will have a conversation that it just makes more sense. Like time is money and it makes more sense to pay somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a mom's. That's a little bit.
Oh boy.
Not my normal mom's. I gotta pull out my phone here because it's in a text.
Okay. Okay.
But I mentioned.
I'm nervous.
You should be. No, too. I mentioned in last week's episode that I got to do a girls' trip.
Yeah.
And when I did, one of my dear friends shared her green juice recipe.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you're like me and we're kind of like, I like to eat healthy, but I'm not like, over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like a spinach every meal type person. And the whole group was like, yeah, we'll try it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get on board. I'm going to get into it.
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to like, I don't know. Like, can I drink a green juice? Am I that person now? Like, what's happened? It was amazing.
Okay.
It tasted fantastic.
Okay.
It's so good for you. So
Okay.
healthy. Apparently, I think she got this from, Reese Witherspoon does one.
Okay.
Does this recipe, and some other celebrity does
what's
this
in
recipe.
it?
Okay. 1 cucumber.
Okay.
No, let me take one step back. This is if you have like a big blender.
Okay.
And you're doing like, I have a smaller Ninja, and so I cut it in half.
Okay.
So, but this is what the real recipe is. 1 cucumber, 1 celery stalk, 1 green apple, 1 to 2 handfuls of spinach, a squeeze of lime, a half to 2/3 cup water, and then you can optionally throw in mint or frozen pineapple.
So there's no like nut butter in it?
No. No protein.
Wow.
Or no. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I definitely do the pineapple. It makes it a little bit sweeter.
Yeah.
And I usually put frozen pineapple in my like fruit smoothies anyway. I feel like if you're a person listening and you're like, ugh, try it.
Okay.
It was amazing.
Okay.
She does it every day. I'm not good about doing it every single day. I think you can also test a little bit. Like she has like perfected it, my friend, and it was perfect there. I got home and tried to duplicate it, and it's like taking me a little bit of time to like figure out the ratios a little bit. But if you're looking for something like this in your life, it's amazing. I will post the recipe in the show notes.
Okay.
I don't know. If Reese Witherspoon does it, I feel like we should be doing it, right?
If I can look like Reese Witherspoon, I'm like here for it. I know. I like it's nice to it's much more palatable to eat like spinach and celery, I think, in this sort of form than just
Of course.
You're not gonna like, well, I mean, some people do.
But
it would not be
she posted another video about it, and this person was like, look, you don't have to do it every day, but if you're like, I do it like maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
It's just like a nice little cleansing, healthy little thing. And it tastes amazing.
Delicious. Okay. Thanks
There
for the
you
rec.
go.
Thanks for the rec.
Yeah.
This next article is you.
Okay. Moving on. I was just in my like land of green juice. I was
You were like thinking
still
about
thinking
it.
about the green
Thinking
juice.
about it. I know. I like it.
Okay, this next article is from Upworthy. Parents are split on the FAFO parenting style that emphasizes natural consequences. I don't know. Do you call it FAFO or do you call it FAFO? I don't know.
I don't know. I was calling it FAFO in my head, but I don't know.
Well, I kept thinking that, and then I was like, are we talking about FAO Schwartz? Like, I was getting a little confused. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't know what this is, I did not. It stands for F around and find out.
Ooh, it sounds so
FAFO.
authoritarian.
Yes. Okay, here's the gist. Your kids are learning by experience, not by punishment. So basically the thought process is, as the example they say in this article is, it's freezing cold and your kid says, I don't want to wear a coat. And you might say, no, you have to wear a coat, and you force it on them and they're grumbly and complain and whatever. Or you say, okay, well, I know you're going to get cold. I'll put the coat in the car. You'll probably ask for it later. I'll still kind of like take care of you. This method is you don't bring the coat.
Right.
If they say they don't want a coat, they don't get a coat. And if you get to the playground and they're freezing, you're like, sorry.
That's what happens.
Deal. This is
FAFO.
you. Yeah. FAFO, figure it out. Like, sorry, you're going to be shivering and you should have listened to me in the first place. The downside is, of course, you don't want to let this go too far and get to a place where they're, it's dangerous, right? You don't want like your kid to get like frostbite.
Like if it's like, 10 degrees.
Yeah.
It's not really
and that's just one example. But obviously you could see how this could go into like a kind of risky place if you just let your kids do whatever they want. The other thing that it says is it's not always immediate, right? Like the consequence, the natural consequence that you're
like, don't eat a snack right now or don't eat dinner right now. And you're, okay, I'm not going to eat my lunch, and it's not like 10 minutes later, I'm going to be starving. It's going to be like 3 hours later.
Right. And now I've forgotten the lesson.
Correct.
Yeah. So those are the two kind of caveats to this. And they said the other thing is, of course, if you're in public doing this, you might be perceived as a bad parent, right? Like you just don't care. Like you're not concerned that your kid's standing over there freezing, unless you're like, I'm FAFOing over here, folks. Like I warned him, like, Yeah.
Fafoing over here.
I promise I'm a good mom. Just fafoing. Yeah. So, take that as you will. I think I try to do this to some extent. But I will say, because this recently happened, the same, like, I don't need a coat. And I did put them in the trunk.
Yeah, well, because
and then they did need it.
Guess who
and-
else suffers? Like your kid is cold, but then they're
Like,
also
you have to
like
hear the grumbling.
complaining and whining to you. And so it's kind of like.
And there is an inherent part, I think, of all parents that we want our kids to be happy and comfortable and like what's the point if we're just going to be at the playground and they're miserable and then like
you have to leave 10 minutes later.
Yeah, we have to leave. Yeah. So,
yeah.
But I do really respect the thought process behind this.
Right.
And the thought of like, yeah, like let's not like hold their hand and protect them from everything. Like at some point, like make your own choice and live with the consequence.
Right. And the idea is, of course, is that the next time you'll make the better choice because you will remember the consequences.
Now, I definitely think there's an age factor to this, right?
Yes.
Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously my 3-year-old's can't do this.
Right.
The 6-year-old.
Well, it's kind of interesting. There's some pushback because the person writing this talks about one of the, Sappho moments is like her kid is climbing higher and higher in the tree. And she's like, I know he's climbing too high, but, natural consequences. And it's like, but wait, that feels like it's kind of like.
Yeah, then do you want to have to deal with like a broken
arm?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there is probably a fine line to this, and knowing where the fine line is probably instrumental in doing this.
But I will say this might be a controversial comment. I will say as like a general society note, I think maybe we could all use like a tinge of this.
Everybody. Kids,
parenting.
adults.
Like I'm more so kids, but like I do feel like in general, it feels like kids are a little bit more protected these days and a little bit less like make your bed and lay in it type. I mean, I'm not saying, again, it sounds controversial. I'm not saying we should go full force into this, everybody, but I just think in general, like it's not a bad idea perhaps to introduce some of these thoughts and like, try this out a bit. Dip your toe in it.
I'm just thinking about how River jumped off a swing and did break her arm.
Yes.
And I will tell you, guess who will still swing, but won't jump off swings anymore.
There you go.
So, I mean, that's obviously an extreme case, but it is one of those things like.
You're like, well, she learned her
lesson.
lesson.
She learned her lesson there.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me sad a little bit because most of the time you can jump off a swing and not break your arm.
Right.
But
I mean, it was at my house and I saw it and I did not think it was a big deal.
Yeah, I know.
It was just.
It is kind of funny. Things. That has made me a little bit more of a cautious parent, by the way, it happens so fast and so quickly and so in such an innocuous way that you just didn't see coming that I have been a little bit more hesitant to see her doing some other things because it's funny. Scarred in my mind.
I don't think thought of this when you left your child with me at the playground the other day.
Oh, what was she doing?
And I had my other kids, like it was like 4 kids that I was watching and I was like, well, no, it was fine. But the thought did cross my head. Last time River was at a playground with me, she broke her arm. Well, like, sure do hope nothing bad happens this time.
I will tell you that when I came, she was on the monkey bars, but it was just totally fine. And I didn't keep her from doing it. But I do have a friend who kid broke their arm falling off the monkey bars. And I actually thought, but like, this is the thing.
What are you going to do?
You're not going to keep your kid from
you can never
being
play
on
a playground.
Right, exactly.
For sure.
So this is where it's kind of one of those,
it was just funny to me because I was like, Katie's really trusting me with River at a playground again. We don't have a good track record here.
I will tell you, like I said, that was like such an astounding thing that happened.
But it also goes to show that like River wasn't doing anything dangerous when she did that.
No.
My kids were doing the same thing she was doing when she jumped off. Every kid jumps off a swing. And like, you just never know. Like that was just
I just had a flash of it just talking about it. I just had, I was standing there and I just saw it in my head and yes.
And you said, surely it's not broken. I said, there's no way it's broken.
She fell so hard and I remember being shocked that she did it. Yes, I know. I don't know.
We don't know what
the answer is. Like, this is like parenting.
Now we're getting into like broken arm PTSD.
I know. Sorry. I just had an image of it. Yeah.
No, I think it's a tricky, it's hard to get it right. It's a fine line.
It's like a gray area, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you definitely don't want those kids who are like, I'm scared to do anything.
Correct. That's not the answer either.
Mm-mm. I don't know.
Okay, let's move on to something a little more lighthearted. I don't know.
Oh gosh, does
this make you laugh? I will say this. So I have some nieces and nephews who are teenagers, and this article reminded me so much of it because, like, over Christmas, I never felt so dumb in my life. The title of this article comes from parents.com. What does huzz mean? H-U-Z-Z. And why are your kids saying it? A middle school teacher and content creator is breaking down the latest lingo tweens and teens are using. So basically, it's funny. He, jumps on social media and is like, all right, kids, like, let me tell you what some of these are. So it's all these slang words. And if you think your kid doesn't know them, question them, because I'll bet they do.
You think our kids do?
I don't think our kids do, but I think if you have a tween, like kids a little bit older, I think they absolutely do. And the only reason I think that is because, like I said, I have nieces and nephews who do not live in the same town who I saw all over Christmas, and every single one of them knew exactly what it was. So huzz, H-U-Z-Z, is a group of, I'm not going to say this word, but basically a group of hussies, but also can be just a gaggle
of girls. Use your head. You can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also just a gaggle of girls, or I can refer to like a boo or like a pookie. As I just said that aloud.
Do we need to cut that?
I don't know. That felt really awkward. I'm really sorry. I'm just reporting what the kids say, people, okay? And obviously I should never say it out loud again, because
Did you see my face?
Yes. And did you see my face after I said it? I was like, I felt like I just spoke a different language. I don't know what was happening there. A bruzz, that's B-R-U-Z-Z, is a group of bros.
That one makes, I understand that.
A bruzz.
Yeah.
And a gruzz is a reference, and I love this article just calls them old people.
Us. If you saw a group of us, we'd be gruzz.
They said it's like grandma and grandpas, but I don't know.
Us.
Maybe when you're 13, you think like 40-year-olds are.
Gruzz.
Mm-hmm. Old people, in quotation marks. But then there were some other words in here, and these are the words.
I'm kind of like gruzz. I feel like I'm like, okay to be a gruzz.
That? You're like.
No, but I'm just saying if somebody was like, gruzz, I'd be like, whatever. I'm a gruzz.
What's up, gruzz?
I'm a gruzz.
Okay. Rizz. This one has been around for a minute. This is like style.
What's the other one? Skibbity.
Oh yeah, that's the one. But this one's not in that article, and I can't remember what it means.
I don't know.
I don't even know if it doesn't mean anything. But that's the one that my nieces and nephews were like, skibbity bitty boo, and I was like, okay.
Do you remember what it was when we were teenagers?
No.
I remember my sister saying word.
Oh, like
word. And I remember my parents being like, what does that even mean? And we were like, you don't know what it means?
Really?
Did it really mean anything? I don't even know.
Yeah, like when you said, like, that was like saying, like,
yes.
Right?
Word.
Correct?
Yeah. But it just reminded me of like,
word.
The same thing happens with every generation.
Right.
And there's these like dumb little words that.
But these seem especially ridiculous. Am I wrong?
It's because we're gruzz.
Oh, it's because we're gruzz. Okay. So rizz.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's like the same, right?
Why do they all have Z's? Like, it just seems there's not a lot of imagination here. Rizz, R-I-Z-Z, means style, charm, or attractiveness. I think you're a rizz gruzz. I think you're a rizz gruzz, Karen. Bussin'.
I'm a gruzz with a little rizz.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Bussin' means excellent, delicious, or tasty. Bussin'.
Bussin'.
B-U-S-S-I-N.
I have heard that one. Yeah.
Okay, what about this mewing? People at the gym told me about this a week or so ago, and I was like, huh? You know what this is?
Mm-mm.
Mewing is a form of oral posturing meant to improve your jawline and facial structure.
What?
Yeah, like you're like supposed to do something with your like tongue, and it makes your jaw look better.
Oh, like duck lips or whatever?
I don't know. I guess. Look it up.
Should we bring on a teenager?
Just to be like,
explain all this?
Can you tell us what all of this means? I feel like they'd be like, you guys are real gruzz right now.
Yeah. I think they would decline
gruzz
our invitation.
I think so. That's like one guess that we can't get.
This is interesting. I'm glad our kids aren't there yet. I'm hoping when our kids get there, the words will be better. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I don't get it. Why don't you just say you're old?
Maybe they're trying to be nice. I mean, I think there's right. It's like the
You're
same as
very attractive.
It's the same as word. You want
your own language.
You want your own language that you feel like the other like the older people don't understand. Like, right? It's the same as, when you're kids and you want like a secret handshake, or you want to have words that like only you and your siblings like it's just like you want some sort of thing that makes you like unites you with other people similar to you and makes you feel cool.
Well, let's make a 40-year-old language.
That feels like too much work.
Okay. All right. Well,
just to be real with you.
Okay.
I'm 2 gruz.
Fine. You're 2 gruz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you have a win?
A win, win, win. Okay.
I really want to sing the wins these days.
It's not a thing.
Wow.
Listen, 30-year-old me is dying. 25-year-old me can't believe this. But my win is that the first and second grade basketball team in which River plays on won their first playoff game. And I'm telling you, trust me, don't roll your eyes. I can feel you rolling your eyes at home listening to this.
No, it's big.
Brian coaches. And quite frankly, we were not very good this season. And the fact that we won our first playoff game, like everybody in my house had like a little bounce this weekend. We were like, playoffs, woo. Now we play again tomorrow night. I don't know what's going to happen. But Brian called like an extra practice because he was like, we got to do this. Oh gosh, are you really putting me like 6-2? I mean, these girls it's first and second grade basketball. Okay.
Now, do you feel like Brian is like
super invested?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, is he so proud? Like, is he like, I am like coaching? I'm doing great. I'm like coach of the year over here.
No,
I got these
that's
girls.
what I'm saying. That's why, like, the fact that we got, he was, we had a rough season. That's what I'm saying.
But like after this playoff win, he's got to feel pretty like pumped up about himself.
Like he just feels excited about it. Like he's just happy.
Do you think he's wanting a trophy like for himself?
I mean, I think River would like a trophy. I think he just more doesn't like, I think he feels like he doesn't want to disappoint these girls. Like, and it sounds so cheesy because I know it's like first and second grade basketball, but he plays it so cool, but he takes it. I know because I live with him. He is very invested.
How many plays has he designed for this next
I don't know, but I will
game?
say this. I didn't go to practice before the playoff game, and then I saw the girls do this play, and I was like,
"Whoa, what is happening?"
Even the other parents were like, "Whoa," So it's been surprisingly fun and frustrating. All the things about youth sports. It's really been. It's been fun. It's been eye-opening.
Is he thinking about quitting his job to like pursue coaching full-time?
I think we're going to hang in there just a little bit longer on the full-time job.
I don't know. Sounds like he's got a real future here.
I will just tell you this playoff game, like I'm saying everybody had a little then they like did a little like last minute practice. No, an unscheduled practice because we have this next playoff game. It's getting serious in my house.
I'm invested now. Like, what if they win the whole thing?
It seems highly unlikely.
Okay, well, you never know.
What did he say to me? He was like, he like made a movie reference, like
Mighty Ducks?
Rudy. No, like what did he say? I wish I could remember it last night. He was like, what if this is like, Rocky or
oh gosh, wow.
Oh, I know I remember that Miracle, the hockey team.
Yes.
Do you know that? He was like, what if this is like Miracle and we like pull off the whole thing? That was when the Miracles, that movie is when like the USA hockey Olympic team beat the Russians.
In Brian's mind, this is Olympics.
This is the Olympics
level.
Right. Yeah, and these other teams are like Russia. So
we got to beat them.
We'll see. We'll
go
see.
USA.
Wait, go USA. Go USA.
/ the little basketball team.
So here I am. Yeah. First and second grade basketball. It's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that. Well,
what?
I mean, this is shocking. Katie, I don't think I would describe you as like the quintessential like sports mom. Yeah. I mean, you love your daughter and you are all invested, but like it's not, I feel like there's some sports mom who are like, I'm going to be at every single practice, every single game. I'm like, this is my life now is like my kid's sports. That's not you, right?
No,
so this is
not
like,
yet, but this might, maybe this
I don't know. What's happening?
This is my transformation. This is my transformation.
It's your dream now too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just telling you, like, I'm getting invested. Although I was like, wait, so now that we won, does that mean we have to play another game? Like, I was like, oh.
Yeah, now it's playoff land where you're like,
yeah.
It's like so exciting for the kids, but you're like, oh, geez.
Another basketball game. Okay. So I'll keep you posted.
All right. Good luck.
Good luck to the Panthers. We're the Panthers.
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers / USA.
Yeah. / plus USA.
Yeah. Have a great one, guys.
Bye, guys. Anchor Moms is a Sinclair podcast produced out of WLOS in Asheville. We're your hosts, Katie Killen and Karen Zakalak. Anchor Moms is edited by Matthew Yates.
For more information on the topics discussed in this episode and to stay up to date on future episodes, follow us on Instagram at AnchorMoms.
You can follow Anchor Moms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Know a parent who could benefit from this week's Anchor Moms episode? Your recommendations help our show to grow, so spread the word.